I was walking by and realized this tree seems to be a little bit on the angry side. You know, Minecraft does a lot of things very well, but it still can't seem to figure out how to not spawn an entire pillager patrol inside a tree. How you guys doing in there? You okay? Can I get anybody a drink? Hello there and welcome back to Roguecraft in the Void. We last left off after having picked up the first elytra of the season and are now off in search of End City treasure. Anyone who's watched more than a couple of videos on this channel will know that I am Le Hoarder. No. Le Hoarder Extraordinaire. I love End City raiding. I love flying from city to city and grabbing all the treasure I can get. It's relaxing to me. Now, obviously, you want to find as many elytras as possible, and you want to collect the dragon heads, but it's always one of my goals to find and empty all the treasure chests in the cities. I'm not even all that worried about getting all the shulkers. Shulkers will happen merely by me collecting the elytras and the treasure, so I don't focus too much time on them. If you're new to End City raiding or just haven't noticed the patterns, you will only find treasure chests in 3 places in the end. The End City boat, which is the only place to find elytras in the end, will always have 3 shulkers on it when it is generated. There will be one at the back on the top level, another down by this window on the second level, and a third inside guarding the elytra. The shulkers will always generate in these positions. The Enderman, seen here, is just a tourist wondering when the ship will be leaving port, so you can ignore him for now. And here is the third and final shulker guarding the elytra and the treasure chests. The chest will contain some of the best loot in the game, with enchanted diamond and iron armor, diamonds and emeralds, gold and iron, and even the much sought-after beetroot seeds, which all adventurers hoard above everything else. What do you mean that's just me? Well, more beetroots for me then. And on the prow of the ship you'll find the fabled dragon head. One tip, be careful when breaking it. It can fall into the void, so the safest way to get them is to build a small platform and then break the head. Either that or dive off the boat and try and catch the falling head in midair, but best to do that when you have an elytra equipped. Dragon head dives aren't so much fun when you don't. The second place you can find End City treasure is in these 3-tiered structures. When the building has 3 levels like this, there will be 1 treasure chest and 1 ender chest inside. 5 shulkers live here. 1 guards the entrance like this one here, and another one will be on this level in the center of the building. Another 2 will be located on the top tier on either side of the chests. These 4 shulkers will always be in these locations. The 5th shulker, however, randomly spawns somewhere inside, on top of, underneath of, basically on any exterior or interior surface it can find. Sometimes they are hard to locate, but they are there, somewhere. The third place you can find treasure is at the top of one of these wide towers. The narrow part at the bottom is just, for lack of a better term, the stairwell, even though it doesn't have any stairs in it. These towers can be a bit dangerous and chaotic, especially when they are tall like this one. Depending on how tall the towers are, they will have the most shulkers of any structure in the city. 6 blocks from the bottom of the tower, you will find 2 shulkers on opposite sides of the tower. 4 blocks above them, you will find another 2 shulkers. 4 blocks above those, you will find another 2, and so on, with the shulkers alternating between the north and south walls with the east and west walls. And at the very top of the tower, you will find 2 treasure chests full of all the beetroot-stained goodies your little heart could desire. This is an example of a two-tiered building. There won't be any treasure inside these, but you can find 3 shulkers here. Just like the larger structure, this one will always have a guard at the front door, and the second shulker will be located in the middle on this level. The third shulker is randomly located somewhere on the inside or outside of the structure. These narrow towers are the watchtowers of the city and will always be manned, shulkered, whatever. They will always have a single shulker at the top keeping lookout. This is also where you can find the End City banners, the reminder of a once great empire of Endermen, shulkers? We may never know. All we do know is that whoever lived here once loved beetroot. This is a single-tiered structure, and like the two-tiered, there is no treasure here. What is here are 2 shulkers, one playing bouncer on the door and the other randomly spawning somewhere around the building. And the last structure, oddly enough, is the base structure of the entire city. Even though it is a 3-tiered structure, it is an exception to the rule and will never have treasure in it. What it does have is 2, count 'em 2, guards on the door. Oddly enough, this structure is actually one of the more dangerous ones in the city. Because of its placement on the ground, it is very easy to get caught looking at the Endermen while fighting the door guards. Be very careful to only look at the shulkers when entering the city from the ground level. And with all that said, and sorry if I went on for too long about it, I spent a lot of time doing End City raids trying to get elytras for everyone who wasn't able to make it for the first Dragon Hunt / End raid. As I start off by saying, I don't focus my time on getting shulkers at first, as just getting enchanted armor is a big deal at this stage of the game. It's roughly day 30 on the server, and most of our members have had to deal with real-life issues, so not only am I here as a hoarder, but I'm also here as someone who wants to open shops and sell stuff. And I also want to be able to give the other players who haven't been able to spend as much time on the server this season a bit of a boost when they come back. So to that end, I cleared as many chests out of as many cities as I could. I find I always love the chaos of fighting shulkers. I thought end cities could get rough before, but then they changed it so shulkers could spawn new shulkers when they get hit by shulker bullets, and it can get amazingly crazy in those tall towers at times. But that's the fun of it for me. Minecraft is an amazing game and can mean such different things to different people. Some people love it because they can build just about anything they like. Or maybe they just like to go out caving and doing the grindy tasks of the game. It's not much of a combat game, but it can be once those shulker bullets start flying. And for me, it's a nice change of pace from base building or gathering materials, or really even just a break from trying to be creative. Combat in Minecraft doesn't require too much thought other than, stab it, stab it, stab it! Or, stay alive! Or, eat some food already! Then when all the collecting and hoarding is done, you can get back to playing and building, and bonus, you now have luggage to help you do that. We're back at the base now, and after many hours of end raiding, the end gods were stingy this day, my friends. We finally have enough elytras for everyone, and a spare or 2 for myself. So let's take a look at what we found. We have not 1, not 2, no, not just 3, 4, no! We have 5 shulkers of mixed iron and diamond gear. Not to mention all that wonderful horse armor for all the, the horses you see in the end. God, could you even imagine trying to end raid with a horse? Thank you, but no, I'll pass on that. But the important goodies are in the 6th shulker, where we can see we found 100 diamonds. The gods may have been stingy on end boats, but there were plenty of diamonds. 171 gold, there's 180 iron, 27 emeralds, 3 stacks of end rods, 2.5 stacks of shells. We don't use the vanilla tweaks thing where you boost the shulker drops on the server, so, that's not too bad with half of them not dropping anything at all. We found 10 dragon heads. Well, we found 11, but we weren't fast enough to catch that 11th one before it fell into the void. And last, but not least, 11 elytras. I'm wearing one of them and already gave away 2 as soon as they were found, so all in all, not a bad run for the first time out. After getting back from the end, I decided to do a little exploring. It's been a while since I did any that wasn't centered around finding me some pirate booty. And I needed to make a world map for the server, so with my brand spanking new elytra in hand, or really on back, off I went. You see, I like to do monthly maps of the server to show how the server changes over time. With the mod I use, Xaero's World Map, I have to actually do the exploring to fill the map in, and I found this little spot out in the middle of nowhere. There's a certain kind of chaotic beauty to areas that generate like this. Almost like Minecraft forgot whole sections of the world when it was generating the landscape. I just love finding things like this where the shattered terrain is like a video paused in the middle of an explosion and it could start playing any second now. That, and I just love dipping and diving and flying around the mountains. Exploring is always fun, but exploring with an elytra, that's when the real fun begins. Finding areas like this always sets the imagination into overdrive, especially when you find something like this. I mean, just look at that little face. Isn't it the cutest little face ever? I mean, I will love him. I will name him George, and I will hug him. I will pet him, and I will squeeze him. But no. As cute as that little fox is, what I meant was something like this. I mean, just look at that. I don't know what you guys see, but I see an area that is just crying out for some dark, evil castle to be built on, around, inside of this giant, evil skull island-looking thing. You know, I know I'm not much of a poet when it comes to describing things, but if someone said to me, the mountain looked like some kind of giant, evil skull-looking thing, something like this would pop into my head. You know, sometimes Minecraft is the best builder out there. Now, speaking of world maps, this is what my world map looked like before I got the elytra. You can see I went all over in search of sunken treasure, and to give it some sort of scale, I traveled out roughly 4,000 blocks west, 4,000 blocks north, maybe 5,000 blocks south, but only about 1,000 blocks to the east, since boat travel wasn't that easy in that direction. But now, this is what the 3,000 by -3,000 block map of the world looks like. It takes nearly 2 hours to generate a map of this size the first time round, since you have to generate all those chunks. But I think it's worth it. We've been struggling to find any real mountainous areas so far this season, but now there are some definite candidates that need to be explored. One of the big reasons for finding mountains, and I mean actual mountains, not just really big hills, is that the deep, dark cities are most likely to be found there. So far, we found caves full of skulk, but 0 ancient cities to explore. So hopefully, we'll be able to find one in the near future. And just for reference sake, Spawn is that little patch of beach at the center that's just west of the large oval of snow. Taking some time to look at this, the one thing that sticks out to me is that we have a larger mushroom island than we have a desert. Sand might become an issue at some point if we don't find a bigger desert than that. But I think that's where I'm going to call it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe even learned something about the end you didn't know before. But even if you already knew all that, I hope you were entertained. While I work away at giving Insane Nutta's Creeper Farm a makeover, I will bid you adieu. I have been Gragore, and this has been Roguecraft. And as always, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, try and find a way to have some fun. See ya!